Hello everyone. Welcome to Ultraman stream slash mainly Ultraman, but there's not much Ultraman as of now, so we'll probably end up talking about Geats and king-ohger as the stream winds down because Geats and king-ohger are pretty cool, and the last stuff that happened yesterday was also pretty cool. But in the meantime, how do you pronounce it? Is it Blazar? Is it Blazar? I think it's Blazar or Blazar. I think they say it in the trailer, and I've already forgotten it. We'll probably watch the trailer in this stream, so we'll figure it out. But in the meantime, once again, hello everyone. It's thomasjujube. Welcome back to another stream, and I say another stream because, in case you missed it, yesterday. I did another live stream. I did 2 live streams this weekend. That's pretty crazy. So, yesterday's live stream was all about Power Rangers Once and Always, because that is a thing that happened on Wednesday, and I really liked it. So I was like, hey, I want to talk about it, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't feel like making a whole review on it, or review kind of video, so I figured let's do a live stream and talk about it, and then I brought in my friends Keza Henshin and Marco Satsu, and we all talked about Once and Always a bit. So go watch that if you want to hear my thoughts, and also their thoughts on Once and Always. So if you want to hear a bunch of thoughts on Once and Always, be sure to watch that stream. It is publicly available in the live stream tab on the YouTubes. So then, as I mentioned today, we're talking about Blazar, and maybe Geats and king-ohger. And then one other thing. Oh yeah, there's logistics stuff. Video, hopefully, maybe this week, will be an unboxing, and then after that should be not king-ohger, Dawn Brothers potential. I know people have been asking about that. I'm sorry for the long wait. I know the show's been over for a while. That is still happening. I'm not canceling it. It's definitely happening. King-ohger potential, not king-ohger potential is also happening, but Dawn Brothers potential is definitely a thing that's happening. I've just been busy, so I haven't been able to fully work on that. But that is a thing that is happening, so be on the lookout for that, hopefully in the next coming weeks. So, before we move into Blazar, hello everyone in the chat. Who's here in the chat? We got Dead Galaxy, hello. Hello Jackie Lee, hello Neurotoxin, hello Alt Epoon, hello KR Spirit, hello Hayden Reviews, hello Oscar Clark, hello Quentin, hello Darth Wang. How's everyone doing? Is everyone excited for Ultraman Blazar? Blazaro? I don't know. Anyways, what about Kabuto potential? I have no idea. I'm sorry. Hopefully, no, I'm not kidding. I do have an idea for when that might be happening, but I don't want to say anything now in case that falls through, and then, yeah. So, Blazar. Thankfully, because Tsuburaya is pretty cool, we got this nice news article thing for Blazar, so we can just look at this and just read this. This is basically all our info for Blazar. So first of all, I want to say I don't think we've ever gotten like an official like English romanized logo, or at least not one like right as the show started. I don't remember if like the Orb and like G DVD, like all the DVDs. I think all the DVDs have romanized titles, but we haven't gotten one for like the show like right as it started. So that's pretty cool. What did I say? On April 21st, 7 a.m. Japanese Standard Time. How many people were awake then? Anyways, 7 a.m. is a little early to announce something. They announced Ultraman Blazar. This is the big thing. Like right off the bat, the series is scheduled to be simultaneously broadcasted in, this one we don't know, in major Asian regions, but an English dubbed version will be available online. So right off the bat, they're telling me, or me and everyone else, actually it's just me, they only said this to me, that Blazar is gonna have an English dub. which is crazy because they have the Zet dub going on right now, which was like super out of nowhere. They were like, "Hey guys, by the way, we've got a whole Zet dub done and cooked up, and we're releasing it." And then before the show even starts, they're letting us know they're making an English dub of it. I think they're still making subs, like they're still gonna simulcast subs, which I hope is the case because personally I prefer subs. But making a dub, like announcing the dub right off the bat, is super cool. So here's the thumbnail, or part of the thumbnail. So here's the poster for Blazar, and as we'll get into, or as I'll get into later, I really like everything here. I won't dive into it too much now. We'll keep going. The new television series Ultraman Blazar features a new hero, Ultraman Blazar. No way! And Gento Himura is our protagonist character. Ultraman Blazar is a hero with a great sense of justice, hailing from N421, an extragalactic astronomical object far from Earth, which is actually a real blazer, like a astronomical thing, or extraterrestrial object called a blazer. So that's kind of fun. It's like he's named after a real thing, and it's a real thing he comes from. I like that. The main protagonist is, again, this guy. He's the captain of the Special Kaiju Reaction Detachment, Scarred, which is a pretty badass name for an attack team. Like, I don't know what it is. It sounds like Scar and, like, Shard or something. Shard and Scar, like, merged together. And then, like, the spelling with, like, the lowercase a. I don't know. I kind of like it. It's a badass name. It kind of gets me interested in, you know, I'm already interested in this attack team just because the name is cool. And then we got this GGF. We can ignore that. Who cares? A world where kaiju disasters are common practice. When their strong desire for power to save human lives resonates, the two unite. So, you know, normal Ultraman stuff. The thing that I find really interesting right off the bat is that the captain is transforming into the Ultraman. And they've been talking about this as well. Like, the captain usually, or I don't think they've had the captain ever as the Ultraman before. Usually it's, at least in some of the seasons I've seen, like the captain doesn't know, or he does know but like no one else on the team knows or something. And I think by making the Ultraman the captain, or the captain is the Ultraman this time around, I'm really curious to see what that will do for the team dynamic, because it's not just some random dude on the team and he's like kind of capable, or you know, he's like our happy-go-lucky protagonist. Like, it's an older guy, he's the captain, he's in charge, he knows what he's doing, and he's this big Ultraman. I'm really interested in that. And I really hope they like I would really like if the team was actually aware he was Ultraman. Like, I like the secret identity thing, like, in the seasons I've seen, but sometimes it's like, I feel like you guys should figure out this guy's, like, Ultraman. Like, at least in Zet. Like, in Zet, it's like every time Sevenger goes down, and Haruki's piloting Sevenger, and then as soon as Sevenger goes down, Ultraman Zet appears, and it's like, I wonder how, where Ultraman Zet is coming from. I mean, granted, it's kind of, probably in universe, it's like a crazy thing to be like, big, tiny Haruki turns into big Ultraman Zet. But, I don't know. I think it would be kind of neat if since he's the captain and he's in charge, he's like, guys, guess what? I'm the big Ultraman. Like, I don't know. I think it would be kind of neat, especially with some of the other things that they have shown off. Is this friend, which we'll get into. So one other thing they've been talking about is that the theme of this series is communication between human and Ultraman, humanity and kaiju aliens, the warriors on the battlefield and the commanders in the office, parent and child. How important is communication to overcome conflicts that arise from differences in views and standpoints to be able to cooperate with each other? This is a heartwarming human drama that showcases the characters as they face various hardships that could easily occur in real life within the world of the fun and entertaining Ultraman. That's great. I'm glad you guys are really putting your whole thing into this. I'm here for the big silver guy. So, you know, if I'm here for the big red and blue and silver guy. I love that we've got, I do genuinely like that they're like, oh yeah, the theme is this. Although Actually, a theme in English is not it's not one word. It's supposed to be like a whole sentence, but it's fine. I don't. I like again, like this also makes me think like maybe the captain will tell them he's an Ultraman, like communication. Hey guys, I'm the big thing. I'm him. I'm that guy. So oh yeah, here they go. They say it again. One of the biggest features of this series is that the main character is the captain of the defense team, which is an unprecedented setting in the 50-year-long history of Ultraman. He's the leader of Scarred. While struggling as middle manager, he fights against the kaiju attacks and alien attacks. And then they talk a bit about the actor, who, as some of you have already mentioned, is in fact... Is there a better... I think there's another picture of him down here. Hello? Hello? Oh, these images are kind of funky. Here we go. Here's Gento. And yes, he is Heart. He's Heart from Kamen Rider Drive. Also, aka Kamen Rider Heart, which is funny. So, or it's not funny because that form sucks. But I haven't seen Drive, but I think it's cool to have a returning actor or a guy who's already experienced with Toku. Now he's an Ultraman. Now he's the lead of Ultraman. So that's pretty fun. And then I guess what should we? Let's keep going with Gento. We're already here. He is the main character in a way. So I like they make an emphasis 30 years old because like the last 3 years of protagonists have been, or no, even for a while now they've all been like younger kids. So it's kind of they're really like, guys, this one is old, and by that he's like middle aged. He doesn't even look that old, which is good for him. So then this is another thing that like I'm really interested in, which is that he's also married to a woman of his age, and they have a 7-year-old son, which first of all means that he had a child at the age of 23, and either got married like before he was 23 or after, or like, well, they already had the kid. I don't know. But I really like that. I like the marriage aspect and the child aspect. I'm very curious to see, because I've seen Jeed, as most of you maybe know, because I have that Jeed review. And I really liked Leto in Jeed, where he was just he was Leto. What, I'm trying to remember. I mean, he was like a really wholesome guy, and he was trying to help his daughter and the thing with his wife, and like there were those scenes towards the end where he's like, I have to go do a thing, but I might not come back, and everyone and the wife and kid are like, so you're Ultraman Zero, right? Or at least the wife was like, you're Ultraman Zero. But it creates this really cool like dynamic. So making the main character like that is really interesting, and I'm really curious to see what conflicts may arise with that. It's basically if they made Leto the main character, and he also is a captain in a defense team. So yeah, that's about it for that. And then what he originally led a small elite team shortly after Blazar first appeared on Earth, after fighting the space crustacean kaiju Bazinga. He was inaugurated as captain of Scarred. That's one thing I will say like kind of bugs me, that like he's the captain of Scarred, but he's just been made the captain of Scarred, so they might still play with the dynamic that like he's still kind of new to everything, like he doesn't really know what he's doing because he's the new captain, but he's still the older actor. He's still been working in this defense team, or not the organization group. He's been working with that for a while. He's just newly the captain of the defense team, so he maybe has experience like dealing with the kaiju and this and that, but he's going to be like a new leader. So that's like a small nitpick. Obviously we haven't seen how any of this plays out, so I'm not going to say like, oh, I wish they did this, but like just hearing it, I'm like, I kind of wish he was an experienced defense captain, because when I hear, oh, we're making the main character the captain, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. We're going to have a guy that like knows what he's doing becoming an Ultraman. But then in this case it's like, well, he's kind of new to it, but he still maybe knows what he's doing. So Oh well, we'll see. And then I think this is just cast things. Leads, director, story, composer. I believe. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Lead directing of X, Orb, and Zet. I have not seen X, but I have seen Orb, and I have seen Zet, and I have enjoyed both of them. So I'm looking forward to this. There's a dude working on it who's made other shows that I really like. Screenwriter, let's see. Military advisor for Zet and a script writer for Trigger. That's I like Zet. I didn't finish Trigger yet. I didn't love what I saw, but you know, there's like behind the scenes issues with Trigger, so we don't need to put all the blame on this one man. Let's see. Oh, they also say it up here, yeah. The director, Zet, dude, things I just said. We'll watch the trailer in a second, because I mean, I assume Tsuburaya is pretty chill with copyright, so I think I might be able to watch the trailer here with you guys. I'm probably still not going to play any audio. Again, the site I'm on right now is linked in the description, so if you want to just scroll through this all on yourself, you can do that. You can watch the trailer right now. So I'll watch the trailer in a second without audio. I think this just gives a synopsis of the things. Global Guardian Force deals with kaiju and extraterrestrial life forms attacks. Global warming. Definitely there's some the screenwriters wanted to get something across, I think. The space crustacean Bazinga appears. Let's see. The cleanup operation is unsuccessful. Mysterious giant emerges from life. It is the unidentified humanoid alien that's been rumored among astronauts for decades, codenamed Ultraman. That's a part that I'm really curious about, or like really, I don't know, I'm really interested in like this world they set up, because like it kind of feels like Zet in more ways than one, which I'll talk about in a second, where like it seems like the kaiju and Zet were like pretty common, and they're like, oh, we got to do this, and they had special equipment for that. So I'm really excited for that. We're jumping into this world that has already dealt with monsters for a while, but not even that. They've dealt kind of with this Ultraman for a while. Like, it's been rumored among astronauts for decades, so obviously they wouldn't have seen, or I assume like Blazar isn't well known, but I think it's still interesting that like when Blazar makes his debut in episode 1, they're not going to be like, oh my god, what is that? Like, they're going to be like, oh, that thing is real. The Ultraman is real. Like, I don't know. I really like this urban legend kind of thing they're doing with Blazar, the Ultraman, before he actually makes his debut. And then this is stuff we already kind of said. Leading a special unit that pilots a giant kaiju robot-type artillery, Earth Garon, to respond to kaiju disasters. Okay, yeah, this part's interesting. While Gento is ordered to investigate the Ultraman from the Battle of Bazinga to determine whether it is a threat that needs to be eliminated or not, he has a flashback to a faraway galaxy, a shred of a memory of a Blazar. I'll go, which is his catchphrase. Captain Gento, shrouded by Ultraman Blazar's light with the unique members of the newly organized Scarred, throws themselves into battles against the kaiju with dauntless courage and an unwavering sense of justice. So actually, yeah, I forgot about this flashback of a faraway galaxy. Like, I'm really interested what they're gonna do with that, because that implies like he is Blazar, or like he's like amnesiac related to Blazar or something. Like that implies like he's not just this dude who is becoming Blazar. Like, it implies like he's got this history with Blazar and he forgot about it and now he's like reconnect with it or something. Which that'll be pretty cool. It reminds me of I guess Trigger and Decker, like what those two kind of did. Or Decker was a bit different, so it's mainly Trigger, where it was like Trigger is Kano, I forgot the guy who is Trigger, but Smile Kid. If you've seen Trigger, you probably know what I mean. So anyways, here's Ultraman Trigger himself. Oh yeah, or Trigger, sorry, Blazar. Yeah, M421, a Blazar far away from Earth in real life. Like, it's a real thing far away from Earth. So I really like this design. Now let's talk about like these designs and toys and stuff. So can I open this in a new? No, did that work? Okay, yeah, cool. Let's look at Blazar, everyone. Look at, I didn't do much. I really, really like this design for an Ultraman. Like, it looks really cool. Um, it's like, it's a lot of like the little things, like is usually why I end up like liking a suit or something. Like the big blue shard, I guess, like on the side of his head is so distinct. Like when they showed off the initial teaser for Blazar, and like that was like the only thing you could really make out about the design is the big blue because it glows. And that little thing is like so cool to me because like it's like I don't know, it adds this super distinct style to just the silhouette. Like the silhouette doesn't look like a normal Ultraman because he's got this big thing on his head and this like asymmetrical aspect that like a lot of Ultraman don't typically have or something like that. So I think that's really cool. But then the actual body, like the asymmetricalness is really, really cool. Like I really like the way the red and blue lines are like I just like them. Like I love the way they like intertwine and they're like kind of scattered. And the asymmetricalness of it is also really cool. I think as if we can see in the standing shot, like I don't know, the way it like all flows up the body and like it uses the what is it called? The color timer. It uses the color timer as like I don't know, the centerpiece of like all the lines coming off of it. I think that's really neat. And then it's red and blue, and I like red, and I like red with blue, so that works pretty well in addition. And even like the base like kind of design of like the suit, like the black and silver, like it has this so much detail to it, which is really cool. Like I really like all the details that the like just the undersuit has, and then the sporadic red and blue coming off the color timer. I really like it. I wish maybe there was a bit more of the blue piece. Like I assume that they're trying to do like they're trying to reference Ginga a bit because it's like the 10-year anniversary of Ginga and New Generation Ultraman, and they do say that like into the article. So there are kind of, I think they're trying to pay tribute to Ginga a bit with the colored blue part on the head, which then makes me wish they added just a bit more maybe on the arms or legs like Ginga has, just because it's like this one design aspect on the head and then it's like nowhere else on the suit. But I mean that's if I had to like improve something on the suit, maybe it wouldn't look good, because I do really like the suit. Slash, I guess, I mean, in Ultraman, it's kind of interesting because this isn't just a suit. This is just what an alien looks like. So, in that aspect as well, I think Blazar looks pretty neat. So, moving on, I'm actually going to skip this for a second, these things, to talk about Type 23 Special Tactical Armored Kaiju Earth Garon, or Garon, I'm just gonna say Garon. Scarred's main weapon, an enormous counter kaiju robot. It is a bipedal kaiju type that can also be used in close quarter combat mode. I already said the name. It is equipped with Earth Fire, a charged particle cannon that shoots from its mouth, Earth Guns on each hand. Those are just, you could just call those guns, I feel. I don't, you don't have to really specify they're from Earth. And a tail VLS on its tail that fires missiles vertically. Oh my goodness, it is packing quite a punch in terms of military firepower. So this guy, first of all, I just want to say I like his design. He's a cute little kaiju friend, or kaiju robot friend. But the other thing too is I really like when Ultraman does this, and I don't think they've really done this since like Zet, at least. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what I mean is, one thing I really liked about Zet is that they gave the attack team Sevenger, and later Wyndham, and later King Joe Storage, and eventually Ultroid Zero. They gave them attack robots. Just one thing that like kind of bothers me with like some Ultraman seasons is like, or it doesn't really bother me. I guess it's like the thing I liked about Zet is they gave them their own robots, whereas usually like a lot of other attack teams they're just in like jets or something like that. Um, like a jet or a tank, which I mean makes sense if you're gonna fight a kaiju. Use like what you have. But when Zet gave the team robots to fight the kaiju, I I really loved that. Like it gives the normal humans attack team this really cool way to get into the action, like the Ultraman. Like the Ultraman is a big guy in a monster suit fighting guy in a Ultraman suit, and, make it look big. And then if the other people are getting in on the fight, they have to be in a jet or a tank. But in this, we got to add like Yoko was in the fight as the big Sevenger robot. Like they got to get in on the fights in this really fantastic way that like other attack teams don't really get to get in on the fight like Sevenger or Wyndham did. So I like that we're doing that again. I really like that we've got this mech, the kaiju team, especially too. It really fits in with the universe as well, since the kaiju apparently are very commonplace. So it makes sense. They're like, what if we made our own kaiju to fight, Pacific Rim? Wait, is Ultraman Z just Pacific Rim? Anyways, they were like, to fight monsters, we made monsters of our own, and then they made this big Earth Garon friend, and I really like that. I love that concept of let's give the attack team a robot so they can kind of get Ultraman fights. We can give the other characters Ultraman styled fights basically, and then it's a cool looking like robot kaiju design. So I'm looking forward to seeing who pilots this. Because I hope, since he's the captain, I hope they don't have Gento piloting it, because I don't want the Zet thing where Haruki, as I mentioned earlier, like Haruki's in Zet or in Sevenger goes down, and then we get Ultraman Zet fighting. It's like, guys, you don't think Haruki's Zet when Zet only appears after Sevenger goes down, or like why can't we get someone else in Sevenger? Like, I know in the universe why Haruki's piloting Sevenger, but like it's like I would have liked if we didn't have him always piloting Sevenger. We could get Ultraman and Sevenger fighting together more often. Anyways, that's a thing about Zet. So I just hope we get Blazar and Kaiju Friend fighting alongside each other sometimes by getting someone else piloting Kaiju Friend. That's all I'm trying to get at. So yeah, that's basically it for Kaiju Friend. So now, do I want to talk about this thing yet? I'll wait to talk about this thing. Let's talk about the trailer. Actually, before I talk about the trailer, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, because there has been a bit of discussion in the chat. Maybe for Blazar's upgrade, he gets more crystal shards. That would be pretty cool. The Zet robots look silly. They do, but I think that's the charm of them. We got some Kamen Rider Heart fans because he's now an Ultraman, so that's pretty cool. Shout out to the Heart fans getting Kamen Rider Heart as an Ultraman. Actually, no, I'm not referring to him as Kamen Rider Heart because that suit is disgusting. You can't trick me, Tsuburaya. He doesn't look 30. Oh, I just noticed there's this interesting thing. I'm on a different page, but you can see my mouse cursor on this thing. Anyways, can we get a Roidmude actor reunion in Ultraman? I mean, we don't know who the wife is, so maybe it's Medic. Actually, I do have a weird theory, but I'll get about the wife, but I'll get into that in a second. It's not even a theory, it's just like, okay, I might as well say it now. Like, there's like a rumor that Sayo from Kira Major / Kanon from Ghost, there's like a rumor the actress would be appearing in Blazar before we got all this cast info. So then all this cast info comes out and they're like, there's a wife character for Gento Blazar, and my first thought is just like, okay, well, we don't know any of the other cast, but we have this rumored cast, so maybe it's maybe this prominent female character of the show is this rumored actress that is supposedly appearing in the show. But there is mention that like the wife is the same age as Gento, and I don't think Hart, and I think like Hart's actress is, or Hart's actor is actually 30, and then they say married to a woman of his age, and him and Sayo are not the same age, so they would just be lying about the age, which doesn't matter. Shows do that anyways. But I don't know, if they're making a point about the age, I just think it would be funny, or it would be weird, I guess, if they just ignored that. And then she would just be an attack team woman, I guess, which I mean, I'm not a big fan of the actress, so I assume people who are a big fan would, I mean, not care regardless. They'd just be happy to see her in the show. So I just wanted to point it out because I thought it was kind of interesting. Interesting that like the main lead is a former Kamen Rider actor, and then his female, or the female lead of the show, supposedly, I guess, maybe she is like more prominent if she's not the wife character. But either way, then she's been like an Ultraman and Kamen Rider and Sentai, and she was a Kamen Rider and a Sentai, so a Ranger. So Sevenger has a very charming look. Yeah, he's friend. I like how Garon looks with the soft cute eyes. Yes. Who do I think could voice Blazar in the dub? I have no idea. I don't really keep up with like American voice actors that often, unless they're like in Transformers, and then I don't even keep up with Japanese voice actors that often unless they're Majin. So yeah, I hope it's someone good. If they get someone good, I mean, I've listened to clips of the or watched clips of the Zet dub, and they've got pretty much, at least for Haruki and Zet himself, they got pretty good actors. So I assume they'll find someone who's good. Ridercraft just got their first Kamen Rider built for their birthday. Congrats. I hope Blazar does get a power-up at some point, mostly because of how incomplete the design looks, but it'll probably be hard to hack considering there's no announcer. That is a good point. I forgot. That is something I didn't want to bring up, actually, before we watch the trailer. So you'll know that usually, or maybe you don't know, but usually when they announce an Ultraman season, and in the trailer as well, which we'll see in a second, they're always like, here's the base form, and then here's the blue form, and then here's the red form. But there is nothing. It's gone. There's no other forms, and it's not a case of them like hiding it. They would show it. They always show it. Like Decker was first announced, and we got red and blue forms. Trigger, we got the red and blue forms. Zet, they announced the red form, and Gamma Future, which is more of a purple form. But even though Gamma Future appeared like up multiple months into the show, like it had a somewhat delayed debut just because of how the show worked, but they still had it right in the announcement. And same with Jeed. I think Zet when Zet was initially announced, I think they showed off that Haruki was going to appear in the show, and it was the same thing. Like, he wouldn't appear for a few months, but they still showed it in the premiere. They showed, or in the announcement, they showed off Jeed Galaxy Rising. So this would mean that Ultraman Blazar does not have like any auxiliary forms. Like, what we're seeing right now is what we're going to be seeing Blazar as for most of the time. He's not going to be switching to different forms or whatever, and I think that is insane, like, in a good way. I'm basically looking at the fact, like, I never thought we'd ever go back to something like this. Like could you imagine if Kamen Rider went back to never having other riders, or like maybe only the secondary? Or again, like, I mean, just like this, could you imagine if Kamen Rider went back to only having like the main form, the super form, and like the final form or something? Like, it's kind of insane to think, like, because even Ultraman doesn't kind of get as gimmick heavy as Rider does, but like but still, like, what? I completely lost my train of thought. Okay, yeah, Ultraman never gets as like gimmick heavy as Rider does, but they still have like the three the base form and its two auxiliary forms are basically a staple of the show. Because like what Zet had it, Taiga didn't have it, but it had three Ultraman instead. What was before Taiga? Rube. Rube had four auxiliary forms, or I guess, yeah, three main form and three auxiliaries. So like Rube had a lot. Jeed had the form and two auxiliaries. Like all of these new generation seasons have had like auxiliaries. So it's really crazy to think that like we're not even having multiple auxiliaries. We just have the one base form. Like I genuinely can't wrap my head around it that we're getting like a modern Ultraman, not even like a modern Ultraman / modern Toku season where they're selling us a lot of toys, that's for sure, but like they're not forms. There's just one form for now. I assume he'll get a final form or maybe even a super form, but at least the fact he doesn't have any auxiliaries is like, wow, okay. So I'm here for it though. I'm absolutely here for it. Could the gimmick perhaps work different and be used for finishers? I don't think it is, which I'll get into in a second when we look at the trailer and stuff. Is Blazar New Generation Gaia or not? Blazar is not New Generation Gaia. This is he's his own thing. He's Ultraman Blazar. I believe they've even said like in interviews and stuff, they're trying to make an emphasis of Blazar being something different. Like it's not just New Generation whatever. It's not just like I think, I'm not sure if they've explicitly said it or not, but like I think it might not even be, he might not even be a New Generation Ultraman. Like we may be in a new era and there's no more New Generation whatever. Cause like the tone of the show from the trailer is very different. Some of the stuff with like the toy and the toy to work, the way it seems like it'll work in the show is completely different from the last few years. Like it's everything about this seems very different from what Ultraman's been doing the last few years, and I really like that. So I mean, in that sense, it's not even like it's not New Generation Gaia, it's not new generation Ginga, it's possibly not even New Generation. It's a new generation from New Generation, especially too because the recap special that they always do. They always do the recap specials when they're not airing the current or the new season. And usually the recap seasons or the recap shows will tie in to the next season. So when we got this, the current recap is like a New Generation's like clip show thing. So they're showing off stuff from all the shows. And there were rumors and stuff that led a lot of people to believe that would mean Blazar is like celebrating the anniversaries, so like the episodes would feature like Kamen Rider Decade or Geo, where the show would feature alternate versions of the Ultraman. So I think the two ones that specifically stuck out to me were that like Jeed would be like evil, he would be like Belial's son, but like evil like Belial, like the son that Belial could be proud of because he never went to Earth and got to meet his friends and stuff. And then Ultraman Orb would be Juggler. It would be if Juggler got the light from the tower. I don't think they'll be doing that, judging from the trailer. I don't think that would fit in with the show. So then it means like I think that show, instead of teasing like what's to come, it's more of a send off to the New Generation. It's celebrating the last 10 years of the little gap they called New Generation or whatever, and now Blazar Forward, they're doing something new and they're not referring to it as New Generation. That's my theory, because I believe, I'm not sure if it's true or not. I think someone just made it an edit, but I think I know the toy comes with a it comes with a Zero Stone that will that like mimics his pose that he does in like the New Generation Stars promo, and apparently it goes through like the grunts of all the New Generation Ultras. So that makes me think like, oh yeah, they're really trying to like wrap up the New Generation after like Blazer's something new, and he even has a toy that like makes all their sounds. So, hi Vaughn, hello in the chat. Ultraman, yes, yes, and I did hear it in Decker. They said Project TDG was triggered Decker in Guts Select. So Ultraman New Generation Gaia was truly the friends we made along the way, which is really funny. It's also funny because everyone was saying they were gonna make New Generation Gaia, because they made Decker, but apparently they only made Decker for budgetary reasons. So he isn't in New Gen, but rather from a different planet, a Blazar, than the other Ultras. Yeah, no, they'll definitely cameo. They'll probably have someone cameo, like despite the different feel and tone of the show. I feel like there's a good chance that someone's gonna cameo in it. I'm betting it's Zet, because Zet is just randomly included with the toy. The Zet Stone is randomly included with the base purchase of the toy. And to me, that's like, yes, or it's like they didn't pick the last season or the season before that. They just picked the show from 2 years ago to be included with the toy. And it doesn't mean, yes, Zet is cameoing, but it does kind of mean like, Zet is very popular. So it's like, it would be funny if Zet becomes New Generation Zero and is the one that starts cameoing and everything. That would be pretty funny. It is funny that Ultraman Blazar uses the same thing as the driver for the screen. Yes, that is funny because Heart is Ultraman. It's pretty fun. It kind of feels like a back to basics season. If anything, it might pay homage to Ginga, but not in no way connected to Ginga. Yes, that is possible. Okay. I do wanna, let's watch the trailer, everyone. Do we have subtitles? Like English subtitles? I don't know. I was just looking on the screen. Oh no, it's kind of oh no, it seems fine. It's kind of like glitching a bit if I change screens. So let's not change screens, shall we? Let's stay on this for a bit. So, oh, my headphones are off. It's fine. We can just watch it without audio. I mean, we're not gonna watch it anyway because you guys can't hear it anyways because copyright is mean. Even I know Tsuburaya is fine, but I don't wanna risk it. I'm not gonna play any sounds. We're just gonna watch the trailer because I think they're fine with the footage. If I can play the footage, they're all right with that. This is very laggy, I think. So I think this is Gento falling. He's just that guy. He's falling. Oh, we do have English subtitles. I forgot. Really cool. I love, now as someone who speaks English, I do love English subtitles. There's a Japanese title we haven't seen. Blazar Stone. Blazar Brace. I love this toy. We need to talk about this toy in a few seconds after this. Blazar Brace. Pew 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 pew. I like that effect. It's pretty cool. And then he does a weird. His pose is very weird. Oh no, pause. Oh no, there we go. I think that's Bazinga. So one thing it seems like they're really like playing up is the otherworldliness of Blazar. Like they're like the music as well, like in this trailer, is very like odd. Like it's kind of it sounds, there's our friend. It sounds unnatural. The poses Blazar does are like very unnatural. The Blazar Brace doesn't have an announcer. It's just a toy. Or I mean, it's not even just a toy. Like it's just a transformation device. Like it's some alien technology or something. Like it just exists to transform him. It doesn't do anything beyond that. So wait, I want to hear them. I know they say the name at some point. I need to hear them say the name. I put my headphones on so I can actually hear the name. I'm listening. Blazar. They say Blazar, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I might just say Blazer because it's kind of easier to say. I'm more used to saying Blazer than Blazar. Let's see. Oh yeah, Zet won an award even, yeah. I know for a fact that when the transformation device is released to the public, hacking videos will appear. Yes, someone looked at like the back of the stones or something, and they've got like rails on them, like a Geats toy. They're a different rail system, but they've got rails, so they will be hacked. This toy will be hacked. People even hacked the Decker brace, or the Decker changer once it came out, and it used cards like barcodes. So this is like good old fashioned buttons. This will definitely be hacked quickly. So yes, the toy includes Gento's voice lines. All right, I have to talk about the toy now. So this toy is incredible. Like, I am so basically, let's put this into perspective for how excited I am for this toy. The only Ultraman toys I have are the Orb Ring, basically the whole Orb Memorial line, and I also have an Orb Vinyl because I really like Orb and I wanted the Orb toys. So then other than that, I have 0 Ultraman toys, and I'm kind of picky with some of the toys I get for Toku because they're somewhat expensive. So I just didn't feel like, the Trigger Sparklens, I will admit, is the closest I've been, because I really like the gun functionality of it. I like it's a gun, and then it's also the thingy, and then I really like the hyper keys. The hyper keys are pretty cool. If I liked Trigger more, I probably would have ended up buying it used. But I don't really like Trigger that much, so I haven't bought it. The D-Flasher, I don't like the D-Flasher at all. I don't like the sound. I don't like the cards. I don't like it. But this thing, I do really like. I really love this thing. Like, first of all, the look of it and the fact it's like a brace, like called the Blazar brace, because, all right. I've had a small pet peeve with Ultraman toys for a bit, and I think I've said this before, which is like a lot of them are just kind of things, like for comparison, in Rider, a lot of the changers are a belt, or most of them are a belt, or they're a sword, or they're a gun. So they're like something. Actually, there has been Rider guns, so it's like there's something practical. And Sentai is the same. It's a gun, or it's a belt, or it's a sword. In Ultraman, just because of how things are, just because of how Ultraman works, a lot of the changers, especially in recent years, are just kind of, to me, they feel like just kind of like a nothing kind of thing. Like, they're just a thing. Like, just this weird contraption, and you use the contraption, and then, bam, Ultraman. And, like, the Ultraman doesn't use or hold the contraption. Like, a Rider has the belt on their waist. A Sentai Ranger holds the gun they transform with. An Ultraman will not, like, unless it's a weapon, an Ultraman will not hold, like, you'll never see Orb holding the Orb Ring or something. And, like, it's just as weird. It's just like a nitpick, a pet peeve with Ultraman. This is a brace. Like, it's a thing on his wrist. And I think that's cool. And I know there's been other wrist changers in Ultraman, like I think Mebius had one, and I know there's like changers in Rider and Sentai that are also kind of just like a nothing contraption. I know it goes both ways, but I just really like we haven't had a changer like this that like it feels practical to me. Like it feels like he can wear it as a brace to transform. It's not just like a weird thing he has to pull out to transform or whatever. And what else? There's like something else I wanted to say related to this, but I've forgotten. But it's fine. Since I have belt changers, well, I think only one does, and I think it's MMPR/Jew Ranger, because Kamen Rider was off the air at that time, so like, alright, we'll do belts then. And then it became our first Power Rangers, which is kind of funny. So, Blazar brace, very cool. Then, so like in concept and functionality, I really like this thing. Then the gimmicks are pretty cool too. I won't, they're not amazing, but I definitely do really like them. Especially, I mean, compared to, again, some of the recent Ultraman gimmicks, which, to be fair, I don't really hate any Ultraman gimmicks, but like the Decker cards were pretty mid for me. So I like these is basically where I'm getting at. They, at least compared to like Zet medals, they're pretty similar to Zet medals. Or they're called Ultra medals, I guess, technically, but only Zet uses them, and Jeed, or people with the Zet Riser. And these kind of feel like those, and I prefer these. I feel like I like the otherworldly aspect of it being this little stone thing, and as other people have pointed out as well, they definitely share similarities to gears, Sentai gears, especially Sentai gears. Like it looks like, even down to the head, like being on the center part, and like the weird bits on the ring around, like, looks like the teeth of a Sentai gear, and like even the metallic-y look, like, kind of looks like the metal. So it's very Sentai gear-esque. And if you didn't know, I really like Zenkaiger, and I have all the Sentai gears, and I've pre-ordered all the Memorial Edition stuff for Zenkaiger. So I do like stuff that has this certain aesthetic. So I really like these. And then we get to the, let's pull out the trailer again, because they do kind of look at it in the trailer. Here we go. Okay, yeah, the way, like, I really like that it opens up. I think that's pretty cool. And then this effect, like, the way it works as a toy is so cool. Like, it's basically the driver. If anyone has seen, I mean, as some of you already pointed out, it's very funny. We've got Hart's actor in the lead role for an Ultraman series, and the toy uses the same technology as the driver from Kamen Rider Drive, with the spinning LED thing. And I like the driver, but I feel like this, you can definitely tell many years have passed since Drive, because the technology has certainly seems like it's gotten better, to the point where, like, the driver was all like an all red screen. This has got, I mean, as you can even see just in this one, like, you can't even see it that well, but you can see that it's got so many more colors. It's just got full on LEDs basically inside of it now, and it looks so good as a toy. Like, it is incredible as a toy. It looks really cool. I really dig it. And like then the functionality too. Like, if I had to make one nitpick, I do have like a minor nitpick, and it's that, like, the whole device opens up when you put in the stone, and then the next step of the transformation is just hitting this little button. Like, it doesn't really do anything. And maybe it's just because I'm, again, an Orb fan, and like the transformation of that device is you push a button and the whole thing opens up. I kind of wish they reversed the roles here, and when you put the stone in, nothing happened, and then you had to hit the, you have to, when you hit the button, then the thing opens up, because I really like the opening up thing, and I kind of wish they connected that to the stone a bit more, because it's kind of weird, like when you're putting the stone, that's like already a big, like, kind of thing, so you don't really need the piece opening up, and then you hit the other button, and now the piece opens up. Again, very, very nothing nitpick. I just did want to bring it up because I'm like, oh, it's like so close to being like perfect. It's like I just wanted the button to do something cool besides just this little button you have to hit. Like, it I don't know, it's kind of weird when, like, he hits the button here and it's like nothing really happens. Like, I feel like I wanted the thing to open up there. So, but I really like this effect of how they've got the whole screen, like, coming out too. It, like, appears, like, in front of him. I think that's really cool. I can't wait to see that rise for sure. Blazar's gonna have a real neat rise, probably. Ultraman rises are always pretty cool. So, I mean, it's not to say that no one else has had a neat rise, but I think Blazers will continue the trend of looking cool. Is basically what I'm saying. But then like the toy itself, like the maybe I do need to pull up a video. Let me see. I'll not technical difficulties, but we'll be right back. I'm gonna find the Bandai Mania. Maybe they'll claim the Bandai Mania video, but it's fine. We're not playing audio of that one either. We'll have to see. Hello, please load faster. Twitter. Twitter.com. I have opened a separate tab. Don't worry. You're not seeing something. You're seeing everything I want you to see. Trust me. I control everything. You guys have no idea what's happening. It's all part of my master plan. Or not, you know? I don't know. I don't know really what I'm saying anymore. Is this the video I want? This is the video I want. Maybe... Is there actually... Yeah, let's look at this video instead. Hello, everyone. We're back. I'm back from Twitter. We're going to YouTube now. Because I want to talk about this toy. This toy is cool. I like toys. Fun fact. So I see toy do cool things, and I want to talk about toy. No, I hate my internet. Anyways, while this loads, how do we feel about Ultraman Blazar? Let's checking back in with the chat. How do you guys feel about Blazar? Are you? Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is definitely that's definitely done. The video's done because my headphones like made a big sound. Okay, so let's look at the toy. There's so much stuff on the screen. Go away. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, now you can see it. If only the quality was a bit better. Yes, I am signed out of YouTube. That's the point, guys. What do you mean 1080p? Oh yeah, there we go. That was not 1080p. I'm like, what the frick do you mean 1080p? So anyways, no, this isn't 1080p. Someone's lying to me here. But either way, here we can see the toys like effects a little bit clearer if the quality wasn't ass. But oh, there we go. And then he does this goofy little pose. So, like, I really love the visuals of the brace. Like, it just looks really neat. Like, look at that. It's just really cool. Like, it just looks great. I like it. It's really cool. But then, so like any Ultraman season of the past, whatever. Actually, hold on. Before I get into that, I really want to... This little effect. That's really cool. Like, the Driver could have never done something like that. Like, it's really cool to see how Bandai's improving the technology of whatever. So, So, like any other Ultraman, the gimmicks, all the other side gimmicks are Zet. Yes, they're all Zet. They're all just Ultraman Zet. No, they're all past Ultras. And again, the base set includes Zet for whatever reason, as opposed to Decker the last season. But what really surprised me, okay, actually, before this happens, let's just let it play. So it has Zet asking to chant his name, and it has Haruki saying it. So it just replicates the Zet, like, the transformation for Zet in this normal DX toy. Now, that's not to say other DX toys have had Zet's voice in it. I think, the Zet original key for Trigger did for sure, and I believe Decker's did as well. So the seasons since Zet, their legend items have had Zet in it, but this one has Haruki in it. Haruki, like, it has Zet saying, "I ask you to chant my name, Ultraman Zet," and then it has Haruki saying Ultraman Zet, which is unprecedented. And then as we get later into this video, as they show off, it also will have, it's going to have, I forgot his name. What's his name? Gento? It's going to have Gento's voice in it as well, which is, that's never happened. Like, the DX toys of, not just Ultraman, of a Rider, Sentai, like any of the Bandai Toku, like, mainline products, the base toy does not include the actor's quotes. That's usually something they save for, like, premium items, because they're premium. They're like, we'll throw in actor's quotes and jack up the price $300 million. Or the final form, it's like a big thing to include with the final form. Like, hey, we've got, or like, you know, some things like the Vice, the Rolling Knuckle in Revice, because it was voiced by Vice, so they threw in some Vice voice lines. And then again in Revice, like the final form item in Revice has Iki and Vice's voices and the different parts they use. Because it's a final form item, they like giving the final form item some special spice or whatever. But in this case, it's the base form item. Like, this is the normal thing, and it's got Gento's quotes in it. And then, as I mentioned, like, it has Haruki's quotes in it when he transforms into Zet. And then it has, since it's, you know, they've got a bunch of Legend Ultra sound effects and stuff, so it's going to have all of them in it. But in the Bandai Mania video, they showed it off, and I believe at least they showed off, like, Decker? Or no, I think it was Victory. I think they showed off Ultraman Victory. And Victory's actor is in the toy, and he said whatever Victory says when he transforms. I haven't seen Victory, so I don't remember. But, like, that alone, well, I mean, with that and Zet, would have to mean that they've got a bunch of actors, like, or they've pulled a bunch of actor quotes, like, and put it into this toy. Not Ultraman. I think they showed off Ultraman and there was no quote, which is fine. But the thing about that is not even, like, premium Bandai releases have past actors in them. Like, I have the Orb Ring, right? The Ultra Replica Orb Ring. And it has Guy's quotes in it, and you can replicate Guy's transformations from the Ultraman Orb show. But then if I go to do, like, I can fuse Ginga and Victory and create Ginga Victory. It's not going to have quotes from Ginga or Victory. I can also use Ginga and Victory individually and get Ginga and Victory individually, their transformations. It's not going to have their voice lines in it. It only has Orb and other characters' voice lines because it's the Orb Ring, it's Orb's show. But this thing has got Haruki in it. It's got Victory in it. It's got the normal actor in it as well. So it's like this super robust, like, kind of premium style toy, but it's only the DX, it's the main DX release. And then like, if that wasn't cool enough, like, if you watch, like, the animations here, like, I already love, like, the little animations they've done for Blazar, and as we saw for Zet, but they're styled after the rises for some of them. Like, if you look at Ultraman's, it's styled like the original Ultraman one. If you look at, like, I mean, if you look at any of these, like, it's styled after their rises. Like, at least the Belial one is, like, the big thing. If you look in the top right, or not the big thing, but, like, one thing that really stood out to me is because he doesn't really have a rise, but they've given him one that simulates when the prison broke, I assume, from, like, his original, from like the movie he's in. And then they did the same thing in Orb. They replicated, like, the prison break when Thunder Breaster first debuted. So, like, that's so cool to me. It's like little things like that. It's like we've got this super cool, like it's a super cool looking device. It goes on his arm, so it feels like practical, which kind of fixes, like, a pet peeve I sometimes have. The gimmicks are really cool. The sounds are really cool. It looks beautiful. Like, using it, it's really awesome. Then the past, like, the way it works with the other Ultras, the Legend gimmick is so unique this season because it's not just, let's play a sound from the past Ultraman season, or let's allow you to do some more fusions with the past Ultraman seasons. It's like, It's got the past actor quotes in there. It's got past actor quotes in it. Like, I can't get over that. It's got the current actor quotes, which is also incredible. And then it's got, like, the beautiful animations that I already like on their own are also, like, replicating arguably the most iconic aspect of any Ultraman, which is its rise. So it's like, okay, wow. So in other words, I haven't, like, pre-ordered, like, as I mentioned earlier, like, I don't have a lot of Ultraman toys. I haven't pre-ordered, like, any Ultraman toy unless it's, like, one of the premium ones, because you kind of have to do that. And this one I will be buying. I think I'll be buying the big set, like, with all the stones that are out so far, in addition to, I want to try to get that new generation stone as well. I don't know how all in I'll be with the stones as the show goes on, because I don't know, because like, there's small little stones, so I could probably just wait and see if they get cheaper on the aftermarket, or just wait to buy a bunch of them at once, which, I mean, I'll probably do that regardless. I guess it's just whether or not I wait, how long I'll wait. I think I know they're doing an orb set, and I think it's orb and juggler, and there's, like, a rainbow thing included, which is funny because that means they're saying they're gay, which is true. I mean, if you've seen the show. So I'll definitely need that. And then I guess I'll see what stones I get as the show's airing. I'll probably try to get, like, at least maybe, like, main ultras or something. We haven't seen much of this toy line yet, so I really just have to wait to see what they release and see what I buy. Either way, I'm very excited for this toy, and I'm very excited for this show. This is genuinely the most excited I've ever been for a season of Ultraman. Because, you know, like, since I've been watching Ultra live since Zet. And Zet, I like Zet. But I started watching Zet purely because, like, the day before the show came out, they announced that it will be simulcasted live on YouTube. Genuinely, if they did not do that, I probably wouldn't have started watching Zet. It was only just because it's so accessible. It was subtitled for English. It was, like, minutes after it came out in Japan, and I was like, all right. I mean, I already started watching some, like, Jeed, I think, before that. So I was just like, I mean, I don't see why not. It's right there. I might as well just watch it. So since then I watched Trigger and Decker, and I did stop for various reasons throughout those shows. But, like, I really only watched them because I was just like, I might as well watch the currently airing Ultraman and see what it's about. But this, I genuinely do want to see it, like, as it's live, because I love the toy. I love how distinct, like, the filming style, and, like, it seems so different from the past Ultraman seasons, which I like the past seasons, so it's not like it's not like they're changing my mind or, like, fixing a problem I've had. It's just, like, I like seeing them do something different, and what they're doing different appeals to me, so I do want to see that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's pretty much it for all that we have about Ultraman Blazar. So once again, I'll ask, one last time, what do you guys think of Blazar? Are you excited for Blazar? Will you be buying the brace, or waiting, or maybe never buying it? Will you be watching, or will you never be watching? The Blazar changer reminds me of the Drive Driver combined with the Demon's Driver. Yeah, I can see that. Do I like the Zet dub? I'm not watching the Zet dub because I've already seen the show. I don't feel like watching the same show with different voice actors. But I've seen some clips, and at least I think that it seems like they did a pretty good job with the dubbing and the people they got. So I guess, yes, I do like the Zet dub. Like, I especially like it exists. I think it's really cool we've got a full season of Ultraman that's going to be dubbed. Because, you know, dubs are more accessible, etc., etc. So I'm happy it exists. I'm glad they're making one. I think the voice lines in the video was Ginga, not Victory. Oh, well, same. They're basically the same thing. I haven't seen either show, so I don't know. Ginga, I haven't seen Ginga or Ginga S, but they're basically the same thing, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. The brace may be your first Ultraman toy. Epic. That's pretty cool. I think it seems like it'll be a pretty good first choice with how much it does, how cool it looks oh yeah, here's the thing. Oh shoot, wait, is this where this clip was from? Actually, I've never seen this. I didn't watch to the end of this video. I'm gonna put my headphones on and we're gonna see. We're gonna listen. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I guess I will be needing this new generation stone because it makes all of their grunts, apparently. That's pretty cool. I like stuff like that. So I will be needing this stone. I'm already, yeah. I mean, I think it's a pre-order bonus thing, so I think it'll be fine since I'm probably gonna pre-order it. Anyways. Wow, that's kind of a rush seeing that all at once. So yeah, again, that like adds to what I'm thinking. Like maybe this is actually, or like Decker maybe was actually the end of new generation, because they're making an emphasis with Blazar being like, or with Blazar being something different. And again, like new generation stars happens, and it's all about the previous new generation heroes, and Zero's technically Heisei, so you know that one's a bit weird. So yeah, I do genuinely think it seems like maybe they're saying goodbye to the new generation, like kind of styling of story. No, I mean not styling of storytelling, but like styling of universe, or they're all in different. Some of them are in different universes. You know what I mean. Like they're saying. They're setting off like the new generation era, I guess, and we're getting into something different, possibly. That's what I'm thinking. Thoughts on Kamen Rider Ulteka? I think he looks pretty neat. He's not what I expected, actually. I did think they'd throw just like stuff on the demon suit and call that a day. So actually, I do really like. It's better than I expected. So we haven't really seen a full look at it, so I don't really want to say like 100%. Oh yeah, I love it. 100%. Oh, I hate it. But I do, from what we've seen, I do like it. I like the visor and stuff. So, yeah, Ultraman. I mean, yeah, that's basically for Blazar. So like, if anyone wants to ask about Rider or Sentai or whatever, go for it. Let's do it. Or you can ask more about Ultraman too, because it's Ultraman kind of stream, but we have talked about everything for Ultraman now, essentially. So someone said hello from, I assume that means hello from Indonesia, but either way, hello, welcome to the stream. I know the one big thing everyone would probably is wondering is, what do I think of Buffa's new form for Geats? And I think it looks pretty cool. I really like it. I like Big Purple Cape. Big Purple Cape is pretty awesome. I like, I love that it's using Fever. Like, genuinely, we got a whole new form using, not a whole new form. It's basically still Fever Zombie, but it's got some little extra bits, and I think that's really cool. Like, I think it's really cool they gave us some big form with, like, a toy used in quarter one, like barely. So I think that's really cool. I can't believe Orteka used materials from the most memorable build form, Light Octopus. I've seen people say it's using Light Octopus, but it doesn't really look like it. Like I think it kind of looks like it's using the top piece, but the tentacles are different. But it's weird. It's like, why why make the tentacles a different piece? I don't know. Or like new pieces. It's weird. When do I think a main rider will use a screen display like the Demons and Vision Driver? I don't think we'll ever get something like that for a main rider, because they've said, like Bandai themselves have said that like they wanted to make the Demons Driver like retail, but they literally couldn't because of the amount of money it cost them to make the LED screen is too much. Like the price they had to sell the Demon's Driver at to buy the price they had to sell the Demon's Driver at because of the LED screens would not work at retail. Like, they couldn't sell a driver for that much at retail, so they said they had to make it premium. So I don't think we'll ever, unless like something happens to the LED economy or the economy in general, to where they can now put out the driver like that at retail and make their money back, then I don't think we're ever getting something like that for in like the main rider. So I mean, like, maybe we'll get a main rider using it as a weird power up item or something. Like, they'll make the belt and the rider uses it or so. I don't know, but like, definitely won't be like a main rider thing. Where would Decker and Blazar go in my ranking? And also, where would I put this in my Ultraman ranking roughly? I would have to think about that. I think Decker would be below Trigger for sure. Decker would probably be on the lower end of things. Because he's not bad, but he's not amazing. He's just kind of there. Blazar would easily be top 5. I would have to genuinely think about it and compare it to some other Ultraman forms, but I do genuinely think maybe it could also be top 5. At the very least, top 10. Did I say top 5 originally? I mean top 10. At the very least, top 10, maybe even top 5. But again, I'd have to think about that, and I don't know exactly. I don't remember what my ranking was, so. Have I watched the finale of Decker yet? So I have a confession. I watched episode 1 and 2 of Decker, and that's all I've seen. There's nothing, it's not like the show turned me off and I just didn't feel like it anymore. It's just, or turned me off from it. It's just, other things get in the way. Ultraman kind of airs at a weird time for me, so it just didn't like 100% grab. And also because I didn't finish Trigger, so I was kind of like, I don't really want to see Decker without having seen Trigger, because it's like kind of a sequel show, but not really, I think. So I haven't seen much of Decker because I didn't finish Trigger. So eventually I do want to finish Trigger and then go on to finish Decker and then talk about those here on the channel. I don't know when that will happen though. When do I think we will have an Ultraman with a crank changer, like the build driver or the gear slinger? I have no idea, but that would be really fun. Oh, that actually reminded me, like, another thing with Blazar that's like feels so different, and I didn't even think about this until I saw some other people point it out, is that like in the trailer when he's transforming here, like, he's like on the ground. He's transforming on the ground. Like, he's not, you know, usually in the, I think at least since New Generation has been a thing, the Ultramen will use their changers and stuff in this green screen room. Like when Orb goes to, or Orb, G, I think at least pretty much all of them, when they go to transform, they put them in this green screen room and then they do all their things in the green screen room, which is cool. I do like that. But it's not in this trailer, and that would lead me to believe that maybe it's not happening. Which would again add to like what makes this season so unique. That like what has almost been a staple of Ultraman, which is like for better or for worse, it's almost been a staple of transformations happen in this little green screen dimension room, and like attacks will happen there and stuff like that. But no, he's like on the ground, and that also adds to like kind of the to the fact he only has one form, because like we're not gonna like we kind of don't need to see him like in this green screen room dimension, because like what's he gonna do there? He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna form change because he doesn't have any forms, at least for a bit. He's not gonna. I mean, I assume he's not gonna like use Ultra Metals for an attack. So like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna show up and like push the button again. Like, there's nothing for him to do there. So it kind of makes sense they just dropped it entirely. which is really cool, really interesting. And like, I mean, maybe it will happen in the show, and it's just like this first trailer shot. But either way, like the way it looks right now is that's not happening, and I think that's really interesting. And there's another aspect of that too that I wanted to think of, but oh yeah, the one thing though that does make it like I do think maybe it is happening. It's just they didn't put it in the trailer. Is that like one thing I did like about them in the green screen room is that it gives us this interesting connection to the protagonist that like Rider and Sentai don't usually do. I've been comparing to Rider and Sentai like throughout this whole thing, and that's just because like I'm more familiar with Rider and Sentai, and since Rider and Sentai are made by Toei, and this is made by Tsuburaya, like it's kind of interesting to see the differences in kind of how these shows are produced by the two different companies. So like one thing I liked about Ultraman with that green screen room is that like it's an interesting way to see the like our actor protagonist like react to things or like get in on the action. Like it's very interesting to have like Ultraman Decker the suit is fighting this monster, and then you cut to Kanato in the green screen room also fighting. So it's this cool way to like meld the two like actors and visual personas of these characters. And if we don't do the green screen room, we will kind of lose that with Blazar, because it would just be Blazar fighting, and then we'll have to hear Gento's voice or something, whatever. I don't know how they'll approach that, because that's like been such a thing they've been doing for the last 10 years. I don't know how they would like change that. But I mean, I haven't really seen any like older seasons of Ultraman, so maybe, I mean, I don't think they do the green screen room in like those seasons, so I probably will have to see. I'll have to check in with one of those shows and see what they did there, because I assume it would be kind of the same kind of thing. If without the green screen room, we'll have to see kind of what. I guess, I mean, in more ways than one, this really is kind of homaging the older generation of Ultraman. Like, it's saying goodbye to the new generation by kind of going back to a lot of basics. With no green screen room, the changer, one form, the changer doesn't have a voice announcer, it's just sounds and like the weird sounds. And Blazar's grunts. Blazar's grunt is kind of weird. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see what's happening. Maybe in the first few episodes they won't do the green screen transformations, and later on maybe we can see them, but not for every single episode after the first 2 or 3. I don't know. I mean, that seems kind of like I don't know if they'd really do that. Like, if you're gonna do it, might as well do it might as well do it from the beginning. I don't see why they just switch to doing it after the first few episodes. So, reminds me of King-ohger not using stock footage transformations. Well, yeah, but King-ohger isn't the first Sentai to not use stock footage transformations. I think, well, I guess Blazar wouldn't be the first to not use green screen people. So, yeah, I guess it's funny. We've got our current lineup of Superhero Time. Once Blazar comes out, is we're gonna be having a season of Kamen Rider where quarter 1 power-ups are like still prevalent throughout the show, and there's like a completely English announcement with minimal jingles. Then we've got a season of Sentai without a gimmick, which, to be fair, Sentai does kind of alternate between that every so often. And then a season of Ultraman where he has no auxiliary forms, no announcement, no possibly no green screen room. I feel like Blazar's like the biggest like difference though, because again, like King-ohger having no gimmick, like, you know, you go back 2 years, we got Kira Major with no gimmicks. So having no gimmicks is a thing Sentai has done for a bit. With Rider, it's mainly just like it's either a story thing, like, you know, having the power-ups become relevant or stay relevant is just pretty cool. But also like the difference in the the jingle difference is somewhat substantial compared to the last few years, but like they still have jingles. This has no jingles. There is no announcer. There's just nothing. Uh, and like no forms is still pretty crazy. Like, could you imagine? I mean, there's not really any equivalent. Like Ryder losing all his forms would be drastically different, just because Ryder has always, well, since like Kuga has always had more forms, typically. I guess not really. I mean, this is, yeah, it's like if we went back to Ryuki and it's like he only has one form. But then like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like just spitballing at this point. But yeah, Blazar I think is like super unique compared to other things, but it's still kind of interesting. We're in this like really unique. At least like, I mean, king-ohger from a storytelling perspective is definitely super unique. So like Geats is super unique. Geats is wildly unique. I'd say Geats is the most unique. But king-ohger is shot definitely like pretty uniquely. So I mean, yeah, we're definitely in like a really cool, like, I don't want like expeditious era of Toku, of the big three or whatever, because Geats is definitely like mixing up the Rider Reiwa formula, storytelling in a toy perspective. king-ohger is definitely continuing Sentai's mix-up of the formula and definitely its visual language. And then Blazar obviously still isn't out yet, but it seems like it's mixing up like all the aspects, the storytelling, the language, the visual aspect, the storytelling. I already said the storytelling, everything. So I'm really excited for Blazar. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm loving Geats, I'm loving king-ohger. I'm excited to add Blazar to this collection of really cool seasons of tokusatsu that are currently airing in the year 2023. I was like, what year is it? Chi-Chi reminds me of Ultraman Nexus in the story of Ultraman Nexus. I don't know who Chi-Chi is, so I'll take your word for it. Who else? When are the other cast members supposed to be announced for Blazar then? Because I know they like to, like, they only announce the main guy. Like, again, this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, the difference between Toei and Tsuburaya is very interesting, because Toei will have, like, they'll announce the show, like, early on. Or, like, like 2 months out from when it happens, they'll announce the show. And then, or no, usually it's like 3, actually, yeah. Because king-ohger started in March, and they announced it in December. So yeah, it's like 3 months out from when it happens. But then like 2 months later, they will give the cast announcement, but they'll announce everyone and everything. Like they show the trailer. Like we basically just go through this lull period where we've got nothing happening until the press conference, and then they drop pretty much everything in anticipation of the first episode. Whereas like in Ultraman, we've got this, we kind of have like half of like they kind of do both at the same time. Like this is the announcement of the show. This is the first time they actually are talking about the show, and they're showing off the poster and the main character, or like the main suit. But then they've also given us the main like protagonist character. But then and then a trailer. But then that's about it. And the trailer doesn't really show that much of the show. So then we have to wait a few months or weeks or whatever, and then they'll show off, I assume, another cast member. Or, yeah, and then also we've already seen, like, we already got a demo of the toy, and the toy doesn't come out for, like, another 3 months, which is pretty interesting. And then in a few weeks or months, then we'll see, I guess, another cast member, and then another cast member, and then another cast member. So I think it's kind of interesting how they really spread out the cast members. I think that's cool. And then later I think they'll do like an actual press conference right before the show starts. But like in that case, they're just revealing stuff that like they're just showing off the cast together. But like at that point, we already have seen all the cast. We've already seen a bunch of footage of the show. So it's kind of interesting how that works. So maybe we'll see if Sayo Kiramager really is going to be in the show, and if people will have fun with that. I don't know. I'm glad no one ever asked me like, oh, what actor do you want to see? I mean, I guess what actor would I like to see in Blazar? I like to see Yuma Miyamoto as of someone, or Sachika Nida as of someone. That'd be pretty cool. Or, I mean, actually, if Heart's the main character, it would be pretty fun to bring Medic and Brain in, because then you could get a Drive reunion. um, because I haven't seen Drive, but I think it'd be pretty funny if they're like, well, we've got one guy in, let's bring in the rest, and then it's just a whole Drive reunion. You bring in Shinosuke as a bad guy. That'd be pretty cool. Actually, yeah, I just realized there's no like villain faction for now. I assume maybe there'll be one, but like compared to last, actually, yeah, I don't know if they always announced the villain. I don't remember if they always announced the villain like this early. So maybe we'll get like later they announce, hey, there's this crazy dude who's doing things. So I guess just the way it looks right now is just like kaiju. The world is the antagonist. The kaiju that are appearing and doing kaiju things are the bad guys. But is that really them being bad guys, or is that them just existing on Earth? That's what the communication they're talking about is. It's like, we communicate with the kaiju and see if they're all bad, or etc. etc. I don't know. I'm not sure if someone mentioned this, and it's semi-off topic, but did I know new Buffalo uses Jiao Dragon's Cape? Yes, I did know that. I did see someone on the twitters.com was like, hey, it's Buffa's cape. Or no, Jiao Dragon's Cape, and I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. That suit's basically gone now. It was, what was it? It was Solomon and what's it called? Saber. It was Solomon and Saber. I feel like that chess piece was used for something else. Now the cape is gone. The endgame kaiju is a car. Yes. What if the wife was the villain? I don't. I don't know. That feels a bit. It feels a bit much. I don't like, not even like from the sense of, oh, it's a good show. Blah, blah. Like, I don't know. It just feels very strange to be like, this character is married, and their wife is the main bad guy. I mean, that's just what Dawn Brothers did. But like, Miho wasn't the main bad guy. She was just a person. She was, yeah. I don't know. I feel like it would be very weird if the wife was the main bad guy. Like, it just well, also like they made Kijino like weird, so it's kind of was like, oh yeah, his wife is weird like him. So it would be weird if they're like, oh yeah, this Ultraman is cool, and he's got also because he has a child. I don't know. It would be weird if the child, his parent was just a bad guy, or unless she's like mind controlled, or something like that. Maybe the true villain is someone else and she's a mere puppet, I guess. But I hope not. I would like after. Maybe it's just after Dawn Brothers, and we're all like, "Oh, Kijino's married. How good for them." And then a few episodes in, we're like, "Wait, he shouldn't be married." And then more episodes in, we're like, "Oh, she's just crazy. She's a monster." Maybe it took a turn very quickly. So maybe I'm coping, and I'm like, I'd like a happy, lucky, not lucky. Well, yeah, lucky, happy, friendly, healthy family in some kind of thing that I'm watching. But also, apparently Ultraman doesn't have the greatest track record with love interests that are married, so that is very worrying. Please don't do anything bad, people who are making the show. I trust you made Ultraman Z, and Ultraman Z was pretty cool, so please don't mess it up. I think they could sell screen drivers at retail if they only use one color. Yeah, but then that takes the fun out of it. It's cool to have all the different colors and stuff. And it's like, oh, there's only one color. But also, they're using like 64 like LEDs, even if it's only one color. Like, I think the problem was also just the amount of LEDs they are using is too much to sell at retail. So it's like every problem imaginable to why they can't sell the screen drivers at retail. I saw people joking about the Ultraman having a love interest. That's mighty unfortunate. I hope. What's his name? Let's find he he made Orb. A love interest died in the first 3 minutes. That is an excellent point that I did forget about. See, the thing is though, she was not like in the show. Like I feel like killing, like the character was only there to be killed off in the first 3 minutes. I feel like killing off a character that's prominent in the show, it was a different thing. I'm hoping. Hoping or coping. That is the game, isn't it? I hope the show ends and I hope the show ends and they get married. I was about to say, but they're already married. I hope they get married again. I hope the show ends and they have another baby and they live happily ever after. They give their son a friend and everything is happy. They can do something awesome. The husband as Ultraman and the wife and kid could be aliens. That's a twist I would be okay with. Don't make her a bad guy, but make her like, I have to tell you something. I'm an alien. And he's like, oh, well, I'm an Ultraman. I guess I guess that works out, huh? That's a twist I would be okay with if they were like, she's an alien. And then the son's also like half alien too. That would be pretty interesting. That would be pretty interesting actually. Because especially too, because if kaiju are such a threat in this world, then it would be like, it kind of would be a crazy thing like, oh, you're an alien, but also I guess he just wouldn't care because they're already married. It's like, I'm an alien, okay, but you're the same, aren't you? Maybe I'm getting too lovey-dovey right now. What's my favorite character from Armor Hero? I have not seen Armor Hero, so I can't really answer that question because I don't know anyone in that show. So who's my favorite character? Yeah. I don't know anyone, so I can't really answer. I apologize, but that is what's happened here. How long have we been going? An hour and 40 minutes. Well, I think I'll wrap up here. If anyone has a last question, I could try to answer it before I head out. But I do think I'm gonna head out here in a second. So before I do, just remember that yesterday I did that stream about Once and Always with Keza and Marcos. So if you want to hear my thoughts on the Power Rangers special, you should definitely go check out that stream. Be sure to check out my latest video, which was the Dawn Brothers video, which came out it came out a little bit ago, but it is a video you can go watch if you're interested. Speaking of Dawn Brothers, I do have Dawn Brothers. Sentai Potential Dawn Brothers is on the horizon, so make sure you're subscribed. Check out my Patreon because I'll be uploading it early there once I'm done with it. And then that's I have another unboxing coming very soon, so be sure to be on the lookout for that as well. So with that, also remember there are other links in the description: my Twitter, my Discord, my Instagram, if you'd like to ask more questions or just see what I'm up to day to day. Be sure to check those out. And I think I'll end here then, because there's not really any other questions. So with that, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Ultraman Blazar discussion. I might be streaming soon again, because we might be due for Geats and king-ohger catalog scans, which I will have to talk about. So might be back soon streaming, but if not, whenever stuff happens, I'll probably end up showing up again. So yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I already did. I said thank you for showing up. I'll say it again. Thank you everyone for showing up. I had fun talking about Ultraman. Be sure to subscribe as well for my Ultraman, when I actually review Ultraman Blazar, the episode 1, and maybe the whole show. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. That's the wrong... Hold on. There you go, that one. Bye!